human behavior. Because Richard Dawkins excels in some areas, they think he has understanding of all areas. This is totally untrue. He came up with the idea of memes to explain the spread of cultural ideas. Basically, he works with genes. He replaced the G with an M, called it a meme, said it was a physical property because he works with physical properties, and used it to explain the spread of cultural ideas. It works perfectly. What is a meme? It explains the spread of cultural ideas. What explains the spread of cultural ideas? A meme. Circular definition is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. It works perfectly. Unless, of course, you understand behaviorism, which totally explains the spread of cultural ideas with valid science. Unfortunately, Richard Dawkins never was taught this, never had an understanding, has never read the book about behaviorism by B.F. Skinner. Richard Dawkins' behavior is hypocritical. Richard Dawkins condemns religion because it's a made-up explanation. Yet he does the exact same thing, and because he doesn't understand human behavior, the science of human behavior, he acts hypocritically and can't see it. He condemns the idea that people use God to explain the creation of the earth. Why? Because what is God? The creator of the earth. What is the creator of the earth? God. It's a circular definition. It makes no sense whatsoever. Yet he does the exact same thing. His idea of memes is totally ridiculous. The reason cultural ideas spread is because they are paired with positive consequences. If a person has a religious experience and is paired with the correct consequence on the right schedule, in the right timing, in the right situation, they become a believer. If their religious experience is paired with negative consequences, they become an unbeliever. It is very complicated. You have lots of experiences, but if you have an understanding of the framework of human behavior, it makes perfect sense. I can easily point to the causes of why I am an unbeliever. It is very basic. When you're taught to look for causes, they're pretty obvious. The contingencies of reinforcement are the reason that people are believers or unbelievers. The brain works on intermittent reinforcement. Brain works based on consequences. This has a parallel with evolution. If Richard Dawkins understood behavior from an evolutionary perspective, he would completely realize how ridiculous his idea is. Memes is exactly like religious explanations. Richard Dawkins is behaving hypocritically. We really need to understand human behavior. The spread of cultural ideas is easily explained through the contingencies of reinforcement. It is not easily explained by memes. I just know that it is so obvious that we need scientific evidence to validate things. Richard Dawkins claims to be a scientist, but his idea of memes has no scientific validity whatsoever. The ideas of B.F. Skinner are completely validated by scientific method. After all, look at what a handsome fellow he is. And B.F., who could ever make fun of the initials B.F.? He was condemned because his ideas went against the presuppositions our culture ingrains in the people of our culture. People behave as they do because of an evolutionary history, an environmental history, and the current situation. The spread of ideas is easily explained by this, and when you factor in intermittent reinforcement, generalization, and other concepts, it makes perfect sense. B.F. Skinner had to write a whole book on the subject. I am unable to articulate everything. If you want to understand the spread of cultural ideas, read about behavior.